Hey Amir, great to see you and congratulations on this spectacular new office that you've got here.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be on the show.
Viptela seems to be doing really, really well right now. You've had some fantastic customer wins recently. Can you talk about any of that?
Certainly. We've had wins across the globe. We have more than 15 Fortune 500 customers right now.
Wow.
And we are deploying and doing proof of concepts with many, many customers. Almost every day we have proof of concept going on with a different customer.
Yeah.
So the traction is amazing. We have one in the retail space and financials and healthcare. An example is that we recently won a 6,000 node network jointly with Verizon, and
Wow.
we are in the process of deploying that.
What's the industry that's serving?
It's in the financial industry.
That's obviously that's got to be one of the largest SD-WAN networks out there, I would have thought.
Absolutely. That's going to be the largest as we finish the deployment over the next couple of months.
Yeah. So SD-WAN, really interesting technology. Hearing more and more about it. Before we get into the details of it, though, can you explain to me what the challenges are that your service provider customers are seeing right now?
Yeah. So for that, for me to answer that, let's look at what the enterprises are asking, because the demand comes from that side.
Right.
And so the enterprise is going through the largest transformation in the history of communications infrastructure by putting a lot more information in the cloud.
Right.
Their traffic patterns are shifting. The application connectivity has to be optimized accordingly.
Yeah.
And they are demanding or going to the service providers and asking for connectivity models which can accommodate the internet, wireless, and also bring all the existing infrastructure together in a very ubiquitous manner.
And a lot of software as a service going on, which
Yeah.
creates totally different demands on the network, I imagine.
Yes.
But they're still, in many cases, using sort of a traditional rigid model for those networks, aren't they?
Right.
So how does that translate to what they're asking the service provider for in terms of a large enterprise specifically? What would it be asking for from its service provider partner?
So from the service provider perspective, they have to offer connectivity in a very flexible manner and offer exit points which are regionalized, and at the same time optimize the traffic from performance perspective as well. So SLA on MPLS may be much higher compared to the broadband and LTE.
Right.
They want the flexibility to put traffic which is more mission critical than MPLS, but at the same time, if the traffic is going over the internet, going to the internet anyways,
Yeah.
they're okay doing deep packet inspection, and finding out what traffic needs to go to the internet and put it on the overlay to the exit and entry points where the higher layer services reside. So we are seeing an architecture shift from the enterprise perspective, and the service providers, because their environment is so rigid and built for the physical infrastructure. Today, they just don't have the ability to offer new connectivity models in a very large scale, at a very large scale.
So would you say it's fair to say that there's a disconnect right now between the enterprise cloud and the wide area network in many cases?
Absolutely. There's a huge disconnect there, and that's why the enterprises are coming to us, and when they look at our solution and try it out, there's no going back from the new model to the legacy model.
Well, let's get into that. First of all, explain for the audience, any of them that aren't familiar with it, what is SD-WAN and how does it help?
Right. So SD-WAN is the technology. It is a very advanced technology which brings together elements of encryption and application level performance along with routing and connectivity to offer extremely flexible connectivity models which go from anywhere to anywhere. Today, if you have to let's say evolve the architecture to accommodate that, you're very constrained by what you have to do. Even simple things like connecting an interface, and relying, if you have to make a change on that interface, you have to plan it out, over many, many months.
Absolutely.
Just having the flexibility to be able to bring in new bandwidth to accommodate to augment what you already have is a big challenge. So this brings together technologies in a way where it can give you peace of mind from the security perspective and peace of mind from the flexible connectivity perspective, as well as application awareness perspective. So how do you bring stronger SLAs to the environment which accommodates broadband and LTE alongside the private infrastructure like MPLS? That's what SD-WAN answers.
I didn't realize that it had security built in. Is that part of SD-WAN, everybody's sort of implementation of it, or is that specific to what you guys do?
So it's pretty specific to what we do. We have solved the biggest issue with security at large scale, which was, how do you not think about encryption, right? Because the moment you go from private environments to internet and LTE, by default you're required to do encryption, right? Otherwise, you don't meet your compliance requirements are not met. So let's say HIPAA or PCI, etc.
Absolutely.
And so what we did was we didn't want the customers to think about encryption. We've solved it at the routing scale, which means that we can scale encryption to the scale of the internet.
And you have a 6,000 node financial implementation, so
Right.
I'm assuming that your customers are pretty happy with the level of encryption which you're offering.
Absolutely, and all the financial customers, retailers, healthcare providers that we are working with, they go through extensive security testing, both internally and externally, and make sure that our solution meets the compliance requirements. So yeah, we've gone through extensive penetration testing and also extensive testing with the customer and outside security teams.
So compliance is a big issue for your customers?
It absolutely is.
Really, that's an interesting one. We have a webinar coming up on that, which I'm sure is going to be a big success. Yeah. So explain just in terms of network architecture terms, where does SD-WAN fit in versus a technology like NFV virtualization?
What SD-WAN offers is large-scale connectivity, secure connectivity, which is completely elastic. And it allows the service providers to offer higher layer services, the network function virtualization for layer 4 through 7 services at a very, very large scale. So we work with our partners to offer that through service providers to our end customers.
Do you have to do interoperability testing with NFV solutions then in order to make sure that that's going to work out on the network which the service provider is running?
To a certain extent, yes, but at the end of the day, this is IP connectivity. So you can do a few optimizations,
Right.
but in general, you can deploy any service anywhere in our model. So you can take existing virtualized firewalls and accommodate them on a per customer basis in the Viptela infrastructure.
Why do you think carriers are so interested in SD-WAN?
At the end of the day, they need to look at how they make more money.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. They can sell more circuits, compared to one MPLS circuit today to the enterprises. The second piece is they can globalize their infrastructure, which today, if they want to globalize their infrastructure, they have to go and buy wholesale services, which are very, very expensive in certain cases, in certain countries. So they can do over-the-top last mile with our solution. And at the same time, they can monetize the managed services much, much better.
Right.
The operational expense of managed services is extremely high. So we help them with the overall monetization and the economic model of managed services at a large scale.
How do you position yourself against the new giants of the networking industry like Cisco, Sun, and Huawei, and Nokia now?
Yeah, so obviously these companies have done very well in the past, but what they are constrained by is evolving into a brand new architecture. The bigger companies normally are constrained by what they already have and evolving them in a piecemeal kind of an approach. The luxury that we had was to take a step back, take a clean sheet of paper, and come up with a brand new architecture which is going to cater to the requirements of the customers as we move forward, and take them through this largest transformation that's taking place because of the cloud coming in the picture.
And do you operate as a software solution, or is there specialist hardware in there as well?
We offer both. I mean, at the end of the day, our customers are asking for a complete solution from the vendor.
Right.
So we have CPE equipment, which are routers with our secret sauce, which allows us to scale the environment from very small to tens of thousands of nodes. And we also have a cloud component of the control plane and the management plane, which is completely agnostic of the location. You can put it geographically anywhere in the world, and you can continue to horizontally scale that control plane, which was not possible in the current legacy infrastructures.
Are you going to announce a lot more carrier wins? Are you engaged with a lot of carriers at the moment?
Yes, I mean, we've announced Intel and we've announced Verizon. We are very selective in our carrier partners, but we are working with the global carrier partners, because the demand is across the globe.
Absolutely.
We are already deployed in almost every continent in different countries. One of our customers has locations in 70 different countries. So we are working with both local carriers as well as global carriers and partners to be able to distribute at a large scale across the globe and meet the end customer requirements.
How long is the sales cycle? I mean, traditionally, it's been anywhere from 18 months to several years to sell to a carrier. Is that changing?
It is absolutely changing now. Some of the carriers have gone to an offering within 6 months with us. Others have taken a little over 12 months. But it certainly is changing because of the way we are deploying the infrastructure.
I mean, I can see from, and by the way, great explanation today, Amir, but I can see where the immediate need is for SD-WAN. Is there also a longer-term opportunity from this technology for service provider customers? If so, what is it?
Yeah, so longer term opportunities, first you evolve the connectivity and get it ready for the cloud infrastructure. On top of that, you can monetize layer 4 through 7 services much better. And as we expand, I think of it as a blue ocean, right? If you provide a very strong fundamental technology, people will find ways of using that technology. So I look at IoT as an example, as a big application of SD-WAN in the future, because this is the way that you can centrally manage and control hundreds of thousands of nodes securely, which is not possible today. And you're location agnostic, right? You can sit behind network address translation in private address space or public address space.
Right.
You can go anywhere to anywhere, which today, if you want to accommodate those connectivity models, is almost impossible.
Yeah.
It's a monumental task. So that's why the customers and the providers are so excited that this is the wave of the future. It'll carry us for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Talking of the future, where do you see yourself and Viptela being in 2 or 3 years' time?
So what we focus on is where the puck is going, right? And we keep an eye on the ball. We make sure that our customers are successful, and we continue to evolve and out-innovate the industry in making sure that we are going to be the most stable, highest quality, most innovative, and large-scale solution in the industry. And we need to build out our company to be the leader from business intelligence perspective, from customer satisfaction perspective. So we're building out a very comprehensive team, which is very well-rounded, whether it's the engineering or it's customer-facing functions, product management, sales, customer support, that's where a lot of other vendors in the past have not succeeded, because you can put out a good technology, but if you don't round out the overall company, that becomes a very big challenge to become successful, especially in the enterprise market, through the providers.
Absolutely. I mean, it does seem to me like you're pacing yourselves, as it were. You're not taking every contract that you could take just to build the business up as quickly as possible. It's a much more measured approach.
Absolutely. And that's the most important thing, right, as a startup. And our VC likes to tell us that startups die of indigestion more than they die of starvation, you know? So we take it to our heart, you know? So you make sure that you make your customers successful, and you make the environments work that you're focused on, and you take an approach to evolve the company over time and not take every opportunity that comes your way. You just want to make sure that you're very stable, you're making the customer successful, and that's what's going to make you successful.
Listen, it's a great story, and you know, I'm excited to hear more about it in the future. You've certainly carved out a position as the SD-WAN leader, so you know, congratulations, and thanks for having us here today. I really appreciate your time, Amir.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys taking the confidence in us, and we're looking forward to working with you and continuing to have these discussions in a very fruitful manner in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.